Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below this video. But if you'd like to join the discussion, most importantly, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Adam Meakin, The Plain Truth, Ranty Flat Earth, Jose, Eric, Daniel, Chocolate Saying, Arwin, and I've forgotten your name, I'm really sorry. Where are we? Anon. Good to have you all.
Hello. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Hola.
So let's do a bit of housekeeping. Calm, hopefully calm. Any signs of curvature?
Nope.
Nada.
No? Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Right, not.
Mayo, Chinese.
Any evidence of the
I'm not
distance
afraid
to the
not.
sun?
I'm rather happy about it.
Any evidence of the distance to the
Glad the Earth's
sun?
not spinning.
Distance to the sun? Evidence of? Anybody?
Nobody knows the distance to the sun.
Because there is none of that.
There is
We'd
a
have
lot
to
of...
be able to measure it. We'd have to get there, I guess, right? We'd have to go there and back.
First, establish that it is a physical object.
Right.
yeah, we need to
We'd
do
have
that
to
first.
establish that first.
Which I guess you'd have to go to it and touch it. I don't know.
Approach it. Approachability is a clear sign of tangibility.
Mm-hmm.
But the distance traveled has to be linear in relating to the growing of the angular size.
Well, the travel in the heliocentric fantasy world would be through the medium of a vacuum. So is there any evidence that you can have a gas pressure without a container?
Nope.
Yeah.
Not even in theory.
No? About gravity? Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Nope.
No.
It's just an aberration.
What about a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth? Any evidence of that?
No, I did use it in the rap song. I hope you don't mind, Nathan.
I don't mind.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Joy.
Hello.
What about the R value then? Any evidence of Earth radius?
No.
No.
There's an R in the rumpus, but he's no longer in the panel.
Yeah, we had the rumpus in the in-between bit. And
It implies a lot of circular reasoning.
well, I asked him... Go on, go ahead.
We've got evidence for no curvature. As stated in the previous show, that peak evidence is a clear demonstration that there appears to be no apparent curvature in play.
Yeah, the Earth is flat.
Oh yeah, there's that.
Well, that concludes the housekeeping. Thank you very much indeed. Nice and swift. Please share the show if you're watching live.
Well, that was an interesting first half.
Big silence after the rumpus.
Well, all he did was obfuscate after I had him against the wall, so I asked him a question specifically about why he didn't do a perspective translation when he directly compared the mathematics of the curve calculator to the observation of the Isle of Man. And he claimed that he did. He just lied. So at that point, he just rumpus the hangout immediately and just caused total disruption. So that was where I kicked him out. It's like, no, you know, got you, mate. Yeah, you should be applying perspective. You didn't.
So
He's out.
apparently,
Well,
He's
he
out
said he
making-
did it afterward, but yeah, that misses the entire point.
He's claiming utter nonsense in the chat.
Well, people can go back and check. It's really easy to go back and check all of those debates and see if at any stage the word perspective translation came up and was applied to any of those mathematics. I absolutely assure you they won't, but feel free to go and prove Rumpus wrong and double check whether or not he put a perspective translation onto the mathematics when comparing this image on screen right now. And I assure you, he didn't.
But he's writing a manual about it.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure people can go and check that his manual matches up with the perspective translation that he did on the show live. That's still there for people to double check his claims. I'm sure they'd much prefer the channel was shut down like Miles Davis's will soon be when he realises that his observation's only possible on a flat plane.
you're forgetting, Nath. I mean, the Rumpus, like he said, he's still working on the Isle of Man stuff from last year. So it's just like the whole argument. It's so last year. This past 6 months has seen such a move forward in flat Earth knowledge and proof and understanding of the realities where we live, that they're still stuck in the past, just like Rumpus. That's why he's still working on the Isle of Man stuff.
In a little different note, I want to shout out Kin L, formerly known as Vinegar Strokes. She's been doing a few open hangouts in the last few days. I've been watching. I haven't joined, but I've seen many characters joining and talking a bunch of interesting subjects. So check it out, Kin L, and she is very active in these last couple of days.
Yeah, me and Ken, we did a double thing. We did the Hangouts broadcast on my channel and her channel. We had quite a few people if you add the two together.
Yeah, I couldn't get on there. What the heck was going on? I heard myself in I don't know how you had it set up, Jim. Anyway.
I had the wrong link, so you needed to get her link on her channel. So.
Okay, no problem. I thought somebody messed up. Whatever. Okay. Julio.
Hey, Ranty, I was just going to say it was a nice presentation in the last show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. And I was going to ask something about basically what we were looking at. It's basically like an equation, right? So if you have distance and angle, you could work out height, or if you had height and distance, you could work out the angle. Does that sort of make sense, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, when we look at the sun, we don't know how high it is. We don't know how far away it is.
We don't even know if it's a tangible thing.
Right. And all we really have is the angle from it, unless it's like directly above you, which would mean it would have a distance of 0, right?
Right.
So then you would have the angle and distance, and then if you could somehow figure out how far it's moving away from you, then maybe you could sort of punch in the last, or just make some calculations and figure out maybe how high it is. But
well, you wouldn't be able to do that because firstly, we don't know the size of it. We don't know the distance to it. So without those two to input, or any of those two things to input, we can't triangulate anything with it.
Yeah, because we're never going to figure out the height, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to be just clearer in my head about it. Thank you.
Yeah, we just see a light in the sky. We don't know what it is. We don't know if it's tangible. It appears that heat comes from it. That's about all we know. We know nothing else. It's not like we can go up there and feel it. It could be like Adam was showing before, you can have a mountain that's 10 miles away and 10 miles high, and then you can have a mountain that's 20 miles away and 20 miles high, and it'll look the same height. So it's the same with the sun. The sun could be relatively close and small, or it could be 93 million miles away and massive. But without us actually having any more input, any more data to work from than that, we can't actually figure anything out.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't even know what it is.
But for distances, like you just mentioned, figuring out like a mountain that's twice the size of one closer can seem the same size in the distance.
Yeah.
And it's clear to me that like everybody goes through it so clearly, and it's quite clear to me in like just going through the little distance, angle, and height calculation. I mean, how come Rumpus can't get it? Like, what extra is he putting in there, or what is he changing to go a different direction with it?
Well, he's not. He's just adapting as he goes. He's just spouting any old gibberish that comes to mind because they're literally flapping around for answers and they don't have them. But if they make enough noise and they all pat each other on the back and proclaim victory in some way, they think that they're actually getting somewhere and not they're just embarrassing themselves.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty well spoken, so he's just good at getting a point across. But when you really think about what he's saying, it's just a bunch of words sometimes, and I don't know. It's like you took your time and presented it very well. Then he just comes in and just says he's right. So
it's what they always do. I mean, we're used to it by now. Exactly like I say, what I said before, I'll just repeat it, which is that they're still working in last year's data. They're still working from things that they thought were correct a year ago. The flat Earth movement has progressed and evolved in the past 6 or 8 months. It's literally grown exponential, and our knowledge has grown exponential. They can't handle this because it's a whole new influx of data and proof. They just want to go back to the comfort of the ball and just keep chanting that it is correct, and they're not interested in looking at the data, not looking in the evidence. We're the only scientists, as far as I'm concerned, on flat Earth at the moment. We are actually the ones doing this stuff. We're the ones working it out. They're still stuck from what they were force-fed 20, 30 years ago. You know, that's their knowledge. You know, we're changing our not our arguments, but we're literally getting the answers for the things that we were stuck on a year ago, 2 years ago, and they can't handle that.
yeah, I see. Like when I go on forums and look at topics about flat Earth, it seems like that people jump in quite early. Obviously, they haven't really thought about what the person's presenting, and then just proclaim that they're right. And I think what you're saying is true, that a lot of people just haven't even started to think about this yet. So if they're going to jump into it right off the bat without knowing anything about what we've talked about, everything we've gone through, then they're just going to go in that mode, that rumpus mode, and just say they're right any way they possibly can.
Oh, if you think this is bad now, wait for them to see it in another couple of years when we get an influx of fresh minds that can come in and take the stuff that we've already progressed so far at the moment. Wait till in another 2 years' time when they've progressed it even further. These guys won't know. They'll be burying their heads in the sand for the next 2, 3 years until they can't ignore it anymore. This is what's going to happen. You know, we're at the forefront of it now, but in a year's time, we could be at the back end of the queue. There could be a lot more intelligent people coming with deeper pockets that can afford to do experiments that we can only dream of, and they may be able to knock this completely out of the park. You know, we think we have the answers, but can we prove everything we say at the minute? Not right now, but in 3 years' time, the amount of people, the reach that it could get to, we could have validated all the things that we're talking about now and have it really concrete in 2 or 3 years' time.
Yeah, like something that wouldn't be that difficult to put together would be like a public weather balloon system, you know? Just balloons, I think they can just go up there and not really need much power to just send data back and just see sort of what's up there. I don't know how high you could actually get one. And to just have like a gas analyzer and some cameras and shit.
Oh, there's probably a whole host of things that we could do, things that we've probably not even thought of right now. And just wait. Just the best thing we can do is just go along for the ride and see where this ends up, because we know we're on the right track. It's just a case of finding all the answers and proving all the answers. And you know, as time progresses, this is what will happen.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyone else? Win, are we doing this show this morning? I know that you had a link out, but I didn't know if you actually went live because I was working on that presentation.
Yeah, he did the early bird show. I don't know if he's just sloped off for a second, but as he hasn't come off mute, I'll plug my show. So if you missed Miles Davis having his channel taken away from him on show 602, it'll get replayed at the end of this. So as soon as this show finishes live, the premiere of 602 will go out. So you can still chat alongside that show. And yeah, check it out. It's on my second channel, Nathan Oakley. I'll put a link in the chat towards the end of the show. But if you want to go and subscribe now, there's a link in the info box to Nathan Oakley channel where I rerun the premieres. There's also the pre-show on there. And then at 4 a.m. UK time or 0400 GMT, there's the after show. So when the show finishes live, I carry on chatting to whoever will hang around for a little bit on the after show. And again, that goes onto the second channel. So check that out. The link is in the info box. You back, Arwin? Do you want to plug your early bird show?
Yeah. Flat Earth Early Bird every day, 1 o'clock British time. And yeah, we just talk. No strict rules. Just add me on Skype. I'll send you an invite to the hangout if I find you trustworthy, and we just talk. Just a early morning around the table talking show, and yeah, we get a lot of interesting subjects here and there. So yeah, every day before the debates.
I've enjoyed it all, and it's been good, mate. It certainly helps the clock watching while we're waiting for Nathan to start as well. It's been a nice, yeah, it's good, and good luck with it, mate. It seems to have started well, and I wanted to get in this morning. I think, like Ranty, if it weren't for this distraction, I'd have tried to bomb in this morning because I had a couple of minutes. Yeah, good luck with it, pal. It's a nice format and a nice relaxed feel to it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. So I really like it. I really enjoy it. And yeah, well, we'll see where it goes. And yeah, I'd love to have you on sometime, Adam. So any day.
Next chance I get, mate. Probably a weekend with the time you're thinking, but I'll try and get on one morning if it's a quiet morning. I don't know if the girls will protect me as well as they did this morning to have a chat with. But yeah, that'd be brilliant. I'd love to. Can I do a quick plug, Nathan, as well? Is that?
Of course. You knock yourself out, Adam. Go ahead. You've worked hard. You deserve it.
I'm going to do a bit of flat porn as Roxanne. Kindly, when I showed her some of my math stuff, I got the best reaction from anyone from the chat. Oh, flat porn. So I'm going to go on this evening on Sun and Moon, and me, Zach. I think Walt's going to turn up as well. Roxanne's going to be there, and I think she's going to pick which one of my presentations we'll do on Sun and Moon Group. I think we're probably going to do angular velocity, carousel versus ball Earth again. But that should be from about 9 o'clock on Sun and Moon tonight. Thank you.
Cool. So if anybody doesn't know what Adam's talking about, it's the mathematics that would demonstrate that there should be a measurable force. Now, when he does the mathematics, he takes the Earth's spin into isolation. So he's not necessarily talking about the Waltzer effect of going around the sun, but just the Earth spinning. There should be a certain amount of force felt. So when people put the argument forward that we shouldn't feel anything, all the forces are cancelled out, well, not so. And that's I agree, Adam. That's an excellent presentation.
Cheers, pal.
And what channel will it be on? Is that tonight?
Sun and Moon.
Yeah. Family United, yeah. So we're on there
Sun
from
and Moon Family
about
United,
9 o'clock-ish, somewhere around there. I think just afterwards it'll probably be, but we'll see. Yeah.
The channel name didn't get through uninterrupted, so I'll have another bash. So it's on Sun and Moon Family United. At what time did you say?
I think 9 o'clock is when Karen's asked it. I think we're going to probably be running a little fashionably late as always. So yeah, probably be near a 1:30, but from about then on, from
So
from
2100 or 2130 hours GMT time.
Yeah. Depends when we Waltons act together. I know Karen will be on time, but yeah, so just having a bit of a chat as well.
Don't need to say time, do I? GMT. Time.
Has anybody ever looked? I just have to. Can I just say something about Rumpus?
Go ahead. You're on the panel. You can do what you like.
He's got a Google Plus post here. It's what's the difference between good and well? I so he loves this. So wish that Americans would learn when it's appropriate to use good and well. Using the phrase "I am good" rather than "I am well" should be a capital offense involving the removal of the offender's entrails, displaying them. You're a lunatic, Rumpus.
What?
Sounds like a Masonic thing, the entrails.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets triggered over
He's kind of like the little guy in the pub, isn't he? You know, the little guy who always wants to
You're an absolute lunatic, Rumpus. Really, you need help.
He has a writing stutter.
Yeah. So
Hey Nathan, can I real quick just add a quick thing about my show?
You can do what you like. I keep saying.
All right. Yeah, so I have an open forum, but I really don't have a time. So it's whenever I try to look around and make sure that I'm not stepping on people's toes. But anybody can talk about anything. And I've had an agent following me around here, threatening to shut me down and whatnot. So we'll see how long it lasts. But anybody wants to come talk about anything, feel free.
Sure,
it's a Vegan Goy channel.
Can you say that again? Which channel?
It's called Vegan Goy.
Vegan Guy.
No, Vegan Goy. Goy.
Goy. Right. Okay. Yeah, sometimes you have to spell it out because it doesn't. It's hard to find at the best of times when you're looking for things, and sometimes even if you search for Vegan Goy, it might not come up to your channel. So you then have to go into the filters and search for channel. So anytime that somebody tries to plug something because of the way that YouTube are operating their platform at the minute, it's really difficult to search for people unless you know how to navigate the system. So if anybody can't find Vegan Goy, then click for the channel and it should take you to him there.
Yeah, thanks. And if you type Vegan Goy and Flat Earth, for sure, I should pop right at the top somewhere. But I appreciate anybody wants to come around. Thanks.
I shall check now. I'll have a look. See if you come up top. Vegan Goy. Oh, yes, you do.
I tried to put a link in the chat for the second screening with the pre-show of 602, but for some reason it didn't post the link, so I'll have to try that again.
I was playing yesterday with some little apps I downloaded for editing videos and stuff, and I created myself a little introduction for my videos. So yeah, I know Flutter Music, is it? Flutter Audio, he does some presentation for you guys. He's awesome. But I did my own with little free apps on the Google Store. It took me like 2 hours, but I got it down. So I got a nice little intro for my videos from now on.
Excellent.
It's not too bad at all.
Did you ever show that that compression of the boat that you actually you saw that boat in the distance, and did you ever display that compression image that I made for you?
No, I saved it for myself. I mean, I posted it on the Skype chat, but yeah, I never been presented over here.
Well, maybe you should. Maybe you should, because if people are saying that it might just be local to my area, well, the fact that you're getting the same compression of the boat, the hull, in your location means that it's absolutely happening, not just where I am, it's happening all over the world. And, you know, it's important evidence. I thought you might have showed it by now.
Yeah, it's tricky for me because I'm on my mobile phone, so I cannot share screens and nothing. So
Okay.
for me.
I've got the image up, actually, if you want to put me on, Nath.
Yeah, sure.
I'll just fire it up now. So the bottom image is obviously the image that Jose took. Now we have the same boat at the top. So I've scaled it to length. We've got a side-on view. We've still got, you know, it's not essentially 100% accurately scaled to the sides, but it's good enough for what we're looking at. And that's the compression of the height of the object, which is severely compressed downwards, whereas it's retaining its width. So another great observation there, Jose.
And this is just a screenshot from a video, so I'm not sure if I uploaded the video, but I have it flowing around, so I might upload it later, just to have it.
Excellent. Yeah, so
yeah, I get all this all the time. I go out there. It's a lot of traffic on big boats and ferries and stuff, cargo ships. So yeah, it's been very cloudy these days. I went to the ferry like 2 days ago, and I caught some little bit of footage, just as a pretty stuff. But I couldn't do a lot of long distance observations because of how foggy it was. So in the next few days, when it's warmer and it's clearer the day, I will start taking more footage on boats and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you could get some more of this type of image, and perhaps more of it looking exactly like the side-on view of this one, so we can we can scale it, even better than this. Then we'd be able to work from that, and maybe just keep filming, and you'd be able to see the compression of the boat on certain days, and also film inferior mirages as well if you can, because we want to try and identify exactly where they start. I have a feeling that's in the air.
Yes, indeed, sir.
That would be cool.
Hey, Nathan.
The plain truth. Sorry, right.
I was just asking, will you ever take Bitcoin for donation instead of just PayPal?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Never given any consideration. If people want to give me Bitcoin, feel free.
You got to put an address in there, mate. And right under your PayPal link, put an address. Just letting you know.
Put an ad up. Give me Bitcoin. Yeah, sounds really appealing.
Yeah.
So then you have to set up a Bitcoin account first, right?
You don't have to make
You just
an
need
account.
a wallet
It's just
address.
wallet. It'll take less than you making an email address. It's literally just like download an app, create a wallet. It's that easy.
I'd rather have Chuck E. Cheese tokens. At least I can get pizza with them.
It's $6,000. Let's not argue about this right now, please. That was just a thought that Nathan might want to do that because it just takes one link, and a lot of people have coins and they don't want to be associated to Flat Earth with a regular banking account, and they might consider donating if it's crypto. Just letting you know.
I'll do exactly that. Thank you for the advice. I've had Gleam in the chat saying exactly the same. Get a wallet, it's easy. So why not? If it's just a case of getting a wallet and putting a link in the info box, it's 30 seconds work,
Thanks,
right?
Nathan.
I will do exactly that. Thank you for the advice. I'm not against e-begging in the slightest. Hit the super chat if you're watching.
Can you share my screen again, Nath?
I can.
The gentleman that did this video, apparently it's quite a well-known video. Now, I know that a few people have said they've had this video thrown in their face. And the guy that produced this video asked me to have a look at the video and try and explain it. And I'm going to address that right now. Dave Jose, you've had this video thrown at you as well.
Yes, I have.
Right. Okay. So we're going to be working on the compression aspect of this image and what we're looking at here. And essentially, all I'm going to do is this is the first image that was taken from 15.5 miles away. And this is the image where you're seeing a very nice, tall, slender structure. And the last image on the right, sorry, was taken from 29.7 miles away. And it looks rather stubby. Doesn't really look like the top of the building, but it does look stubby. So I'm going to crop to the selection of the big one, the original one. And then I'm going to copy that. And then all I'm going to do is, like I've done with a lot of the other stuff, is compress it. So first I'm going to crop out this image here. So let's crop to selection there. Right. So now I'm going to paste in the, obviously I need to keep the canvas size. So this was the original big one that I've just popped in. So I'm going to pop it in there like so. And all I'm going to do is compress it. So I'm going to just compress it. Hang on. Straight up compression. Here we go. Straight up compression, just like with the boats. And then whilst retaining its width, but compressing it from the sides, and look at what we got. And if I change the colors on this, brightness and contrast, and just change a few of these things over, you can see how much they look alike. You can say this image on this last image, which was taken from 29.7 miles away, if you compress the first image by 40% and reduce its height, in just height, not width, straight down, just as with the bolt compression, so it's going in that critical viewing angle, this is the result that you get. You get, as you can see, there's a line that goes straight down there like so. Have this line that goes straight down there like so. You can sort of make out the curve as it comes around here. You can make out the curve as it comes around here. You can see this effect here, there, and there. And you can see this effect here and here. All through compression.
Awesomeness. Do you want to also, I don't know if you're done with that presentation. If so, awesome. Can you also bring up the red pill philosophy image with the flats that are going down? I know you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, it's up here somewhere. Where is he? There we go.
Got it? Ah, here we go. I'll just put it back up. Cool. All right, do you want to talk us through what's going on here?
Okay, yeah, so he's looking across at these buildings in the distance. They are all the same height. So it's obviously each individual floor is the same height. That's how they were built, not built at, smaller or higher than the other one. It's just a block of flats, essentially. But you can see the difference between each floor as we get lower and lower and lower. You can certainly see that this floor, for instance, is half the height of the top floor. And obviously we know that it wasn't built this way. We know that it's just being compressed. This is with looking across the water and the way the camera works, everything else that's going on, we get this compression that happens. It's just a function of what we see. And in the very, very bottom of this, we get a sliver, this black sliver here, which is an entire floor. And it's minuscule. If we look at the top and we've got this big area here, and then we look at the bottom and we look at this little sliver, we can see that that is an entire floor that's been crammed into perhaps just a few pixels. Whereas outside the critical viewing angle, we've got a much bigger field of view and probably 100 times more pixels in this area. So we're able to see it all this floor. And as it gets lower and lower and lower, it gets compressed. Now, the thing with this is that if you compare it to the presentation I've just showed before, when we compressed the building, only this area is in the compression zone. This smaller area down here. Whereas with the 29.7 mile building, you could imagine that probably all, if not, yeah, definitely all of it would be in that compression zone down here, which is why I was able to just squash it down as a virtue of compression, as opposed with retaining its width. And this was taken by Red Pill Philosophy, this image.
But
Also-
Ranty, where's the math? I will not believe you if you don't have any math attached to it. Have you heard that?
Well, yeah, but just, I agree. Yeah, where's the maths for it? Who cares? It's there, visually obvious. But if there was a swell or a wave or a splash, it would obscure a whole floor with just a foot of wave. And then if it was 2 foot of wave, it would obscure 2 floors. Even though it would appear, by looking at the top section, that you'd have to have massive waves, because each section's that big, right? Well, no. When it gets down to the lower angles, it starts to compress more and more and more, because it's in that limited viewing angle. So therefore, something that's in the foreground can easily obstruct something that would appear as though it's proportionately the right size at the top, but clearly, from this image, it's not proportional at the bottom. So any obstruction will obscure a disproportionate amount of that building. But on a day like this, where it's nice and calm and flat, you can actually see the compression taking place. So none of the floors have obscured, they've all been compressed. Now, if you were to back away from this even further, you wouldn't be able to squeeze that bottom floor into the amount of pixels that you've got in that angle. So what will happen? It will reach the diffraction limit, and then it will disappear. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and also going on to that diffraction limit, let me just find something. Just bear with me. Where did I put it? It could well be in this one. Yes. So going on to these images that I took of the ring, for instance. Let's get one up. This one will probably do. So yeah, you can barely make out all the parts of the ring that you should be able to see. The nice clear images that you would normally see, you can't actually make out exactly what you're seeing of the ring. We know that we're missing this lower part of the ring is missing. We know we can't see that. We can't make it out from the features of this ring. Again, this is in the very, very small viewing angle. So when we go back to this image that I took, whereas in the first image, we've got all these little lines that we can see going all the way down the building. And essentially you'd be able to say, okay, well, we can mark it out because we can see all these rings. If you look at the last image, the one that was taken by this gentleman, you can't make anything out. It's all fuzzy. We have no idea how much of the bottom is being is missing that you can't identify. You know, this is just a function of the limit of the camera. And like you say, Nathan, the diffraction zone.
Yeah, by default,
egg.
there's always going to be something in that limited angle. It might be insignificant if it's in a short range, but when you get further and further and further, even at a small scale with a super zoom camera, you can still get this effect when you put the camera on the ground, even at a very short distance. You're losing a tiny bit of that ring, and what's left of it has stretched down towards the horizon, and the level of the ground has risen up in the same way we see in all the angle of attack videos. As you lower the camera, the ground raises up. So that's what's essentially causing the obstruction, because you've got too much in the foreground. Now in this image, it's nice to have the effect in great detail with the mirage below it. So this egg is at that limit, but you're starting to lose parts of it, the bottom of it. Shock horror.
We don't need to really look at too much at the ring. Even look how the Buddha is blending into the track. You know, this part here isn't part of the Buddha. That isn't part of the Buddha, but it looks like it's part of the Buddha. You know, it's just being blurred into it. You're losing definition. You don't know where the bottom of the Buddha is in this area here, because it's all being blurred into one.
Quite amazing, really, that you've got this effect. You know, it's suddenly instead of looking at something that's 5 or 6 pixels of something that's 30 miles away. You know, this is only 100 meters away, so you can get, you know, like if you back out of it so you can see the rest of the mirage, you can see the kind of detail in the mirage. No, you can't see the smiley face on it, but you can really make out what it is, because it's only over a short distance that he's forced this angle. So there you go, beautiful mirage of the egg and the Buddha. That's what's happening at 30 miles, it's just scaled. Diffraction limit in all its glory. And in the case of, you know, a much lower resolution with Travis, when he was going up and down in the supermarket, when he reaches the critical angle, the light on his camera splits into two, gets massive, and then vanishes, because it's at the diffraction limit. And if you want to check out what we're talking about, go and check out the video that's called Perspective. I think it's called Good Times for All Perspective. There's a link in the info box below this video. It's on every one of the live shows. And it's Zachary Sabala, also known as Good Times for All, GUDTIMS number 4 ALL, YouTuber. And he's been talking about this for 2 years. And he's had this exact same effect with a less sophisticated camera, but over about... I can't remember if it was 200 or 300 feet, something around that sort of number, and he did it with paint cans with circles on them and got the same effect, you know, reflecting below itself or appearing to, and it's the diffraction limit of the camera.
Well, Conspiracy Cats has asked me to go back and repeat this observation, change the aperture on the P1000, perhaps try it in the P900, changing the aperture. I think he wants to have me jump into his tune, essentially.
All right. Why?
Exactly. Why? Does he not realize that you can't? If I look at the, and let me just go to the images, just 1 second whilst I get it up. New folder.
And I want to get an idea out, maybe for Ranty or myself, whenever you get done, Ranty.
Yeah, sure. I'm just going to open this in something different that I can just flick through. So let's get to a nice clear image. So there's the ring in all its glory. That's what it should look like. Yeah. That's what the Buddha should look like, right? So I don't know how he can look at this image. This is what it should look like. And then when he looks at this image here and he sees that it's completely different, looks nothing like the original image. It's all stretched, warped, pulled out of proportion. You don't know where this Buddha touches the ground or where it doesn't. Why he can't see that this is being blended into the ground and being warped. Why do I need to go back and show him more data? Why doesn't he get his backside down to the track and do it himself?
Got more pressing issues. Pressing, get it? So how do you have gas pressure without a container, Conspiracy Cats? Are we going to get a glorified question in return about gas pressure gradients? I think so.
You'll have a long wait for him to respond to that.
Gravity.
So, Ranty, I have seen, I don't know if you have come across a grid squared like a checkerboard. One of the bowlers, I don't remember exactly who, I want to say soundly, but I'm not sure. They say that the images don't get distorted in the distance, but what that person did was he put the checkerboard like, you know, object with little grids, squares. He put it in a tripod. Maybe if he got the camera 6 foot high, he put it, I don't know how long of a distance, very far away, in a 6 foot high, you know, tripod. And then he zoom in, and you can see all the squares are perfectly, you know, even one to another. So they say it doesn't distort. Now, do the same thing, the same distance, go over there to the checkerboard and sit it down on the floor, on the ground, and then go back and zoom in to see if there's any kind of distortion. Because I could bet there's going to be distortion probably in the bottom half of the checkerboard. I would like to do that. Maybe you can beat me to it. It's easier. So I'm going to try to do that soon. You understand what I mean, right?
I do.
Ace. I love how the trolls, when you produce an observation like this, suddenly demand repeatability, failing to realise that that aspect is part of the hijacking of the scientific method. So systematic experimentation, i.e. repeating it over and over again to validate or invalidate a hypothesis, gets stolen and then you make a mere observation, and they say, "Well, go and repeat it." Well, why? What for?
Yeah, it's a bit like when I was doing. I was going down, and I still am, obviously, down to the beach and doing these observations. 3 months ago, I had people begging me not to go and do anymore. They were sick of it. Yeah, they were literally saying this, and I'm thinking, no, this is all about that. And it's only been the past 3-4 months or so that we've started unraveling all this. Makes you wonder why they were determined that I needed to stop, and they were all getting bored, and they were sick of seeing the same stuff, you know. And yeah, I think they knew what was going to come, or they suspected that we would find the answers. And that's repeatable. That's repeatable. We're seeing these buildings, and we shouldn't be there.
They say it's repetitive, and it's like, no, it's devastating. And now they're all crying and moaning, and it's like, no, we're taking your religious belief apart systematically. And the audience isn't decreasing, so if you want to claim that people are bored, more people are coming and watching.
More people are joining. You're getting shout-outs from very popular people as well.
Oh, Eddie Bravo. Yeah.
Eddie Bravo.
Big shout out to Eddie Bravo. Thank you very much.
Eddie Bravo's ace. To join the panel one day. If he's listening.
There's a link in the info box. All are welcome.
Where's Anthony today?
School.
Is it school?
I think so. Or homework, one or the other. Probably homework. Been very busy though. It's been exciting keeping up with what Anthony's doing. I know he's been kind enough to actually disclose some of the things he's been doing on some of these shows. And I don't know if people realise how privileged we are for him to be doing so. You know, he could just get on with it, not tell us anything, and then produce the end result. But instead, he's taking us through it every step of the way, which is ace. You know, anybody who contributed to actually getting him onto that course is definitely getting their money's worth out of him. That's right, Nathan. I contributed. I feel like I've got good value. Well, that's good to know. I do too.
Yeah, I think it's awesome what Wiley's doing. And Ranty, you're killing it, bro. Definitely some good work, man. The Globe Buster.
The Globers don't like this inferior mirage that floats in the air. They detest the idea of that because that completely takes away any curvature or optical curvature with the inferior mirage. They hate it. They are adamant that it happens over water and water alone. It cannot happen in the atmosphere. And I'm showing that it does indeed happen in the atmosphere. They hate it. That's the blockage they can't see through. That's why we can't see for infinite miles and miles and miles.
I want to know when the actual scientists and physicists and engineers that all these Globers admire, when are they going to actually start realizing the observations that people are doing and realize what's going on in correlation to the observations we actually make in reality? Like it just seems like they're just going to keep denying it. I don't get it. Well, I do. I mean, they got to keep up a narrative, but
Who the scientists? Well, it's like the lady in the plane. She got grounded, didn't she, for saying that the Earth was flat? So they took her wings away, essentially, for no more than having the belief that the Earth was flat and mentioning it. And that's what happens with scientists. If you go against the narrative, you get ostracized and you get all your funding taken away, and nobody wants to do any work with you. You literally are a pariah if you step away from the narrative. So that's why nobody goes. That's why very few people will speak out about this kind of stuff. They know it. They won't speak about it.
That said, Gav, the Gav that used to do Flat Earth After Party, he released a load of videos of people going up to pilots and just saying, what about the gyro? Does it change? And, kind of a few leading questions. to get the sort of concession at the end. Yeah, we know it's flat. And he had it from several pilots, maybe half a dozen. He just produced these like 2-minute, 30-second to 2-minute clips of people going up to the cockpit, like I say, and just having a couple of questions in flight. It's really cool. Like I say, Gav, G-A-V, I think his channel's just called. It might still be under Flat Earth After Party, I can't remember, but I was subscribed to him and I just noticed it maybe a month ago. Are there any other things we need to cover before we round out? I'm going to round out shortly. You'll all get chatty as soon as I end the live stream. It's always the way.
Hey, Nathan. Oh, yeah. I think I'll be starting a second channel, by the way, which will be pretty interesting. I'm going to upload all my data onto that channel. So it's going to be, if I go out filming and I do take 3 or 4 videos during the course of the time that I'm there, I will upload all of them on the day to another channel, because I have so much data that I can't save it all forever, right? Because my hard drive is already full to the brim, and B, because I want people to have access to the data that I have, so nothing will be hidden. You know, it'll literally be just real. It'll be uploaded onto that channel. I haven't decided for a name of it yet. I mean, I think Jose said Ranty Raw might be a good channel name to do it from, and literally just have all the videos just put on there, and then people can do their own thing with it. If they want to download the video and do some workings out on it, it's up to them. But it won't clutter up my main channel.
Cool. So Ranty Raw, love it. So your main edited stuff that's like a bit more concise will be on Ranty Flat Earth, and then Ranty Raw will have your unedited stuff.
Yeah, literally just uploaded as I film it.
Cool. Okay. Well, with that, I'm going to probably round
Nathan,
up.
one thing.
I was the one that made that up.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry,
I
Alvin.
agreed. No problem. But yeah, Ranty Raw would be excellent name.
Sorry, someone said one
I
thing.
think Anon wanted to ask something.
Go ahead.
I just want to say I love the show. I've been watching it for the past 2 months, like every day on the way to work, and I got inspired. I made a little music. I don't want you to play it. I just want you to play it for yourself later on. I've posted a link on chat. This is just for Nathan, dedicated to the show. Thank you.
All right, whereabouts in chat is it? Is it in?
It's a streamable link. I've pasted it in the chat a few times, but people are just clowning. Some people are, and I don't know. Not many people are saying anything. But again, this is just for Nathan, because I used some of the stuff that I learned from the show on the song. So
I'm happy to play it if you want me to. If you put it in the chat again, I'll approve it and play it.
Oh, all right. It's kind of stupid. I mean, but I just wanted you to listen to it on your own. But I'll post it on chat anyway. Yeah.
If you prefer I listen to it off air, I will. Just say.
There you go. I just stuck it in the group chat, Nate.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure other people would have listened to it by now anyway, so...
Horizon is parallel. It's horizontal. After a lifetime of full assault on your frontal cortex, you'll eventually create a curve to conform with the stupidity vortex. Appeal to consensus, mass hypnosis, via appeal to authority. Say goodbye to Kansas, smell little Dorothy. Fuck your fisheye. Pull out that rectilinear. I heard you said you were an aeronautical engineer. See the truth, flat as a pancake. I'm not Cypher. I did not get to enjoy a juicy ass strip steak. I see it as is, like I'm sorry. Look up, I see the starry night, with Polaris at the center, the presenter of North for even our ancestors, thousands of years, zero parallax. What is she, blind with cataracts? Shut the fuck up, just parroting Michio Kaku. Here's a cracker, a little Iago of LIGO. That's where the lies go. To rest like Lorentz in his contraction, before Georges Sagnac spun the contraption. Then the long-haired crank Einstein by name puts on the ether all the blame and says time and space is relative, and anyone who claim otherwise is a heretic. It's imperative. You gotta drill the shit in people's head repetitive. God damn it, giving a sedative. Knowledge is power. It gets handed down like mystical wealth. Let me guess, you didn't get any evidence of the self-perpetuating molten iron core in the center of the presupposed sphere of the earth. Since birth, simulacras and simulacrums. Dealing with bolzalets is akin to dealing with the assalamu alaikums. First shake them, then break their axioms. Bullshit detection set to maximum. Chills repeat. Door retreats, done is a day of toil. Yonder's haste and you feel the life exploring. And no wing can lift me from the flat soil. Upon his track to follow soaring. Meanwhile, the pilots ignoring Coriolis effect. In fact, they're flowing seamlessly through the secondary rotating reference frame. Zero fucks given about deflection rates. None. Fuck all, but I bet you left to profess nonsense from your boy for cult. Listen, mate, you're in a cult. You fell for a parlor trick. David Blaine performing for a Harlem chick. Who knows, maybe one day you'll shed your program prejudice. Trade in your Star Wars comic for a copy of Raphael's Ephemeris.
Yeah, man, you get on a plane and you see a curve. You know, you look at the window, you see a curve.
Horizon is parallel. It's horizontal, but after a lifetime of full assault on your frontal.
Very good. And with that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. And, of course, a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you missed show 602, it will premiere now on my second channel, so a link has gone out in the chat for that. Or if you want to just click on the link in the info box to subscribe to Nathan Oakley, you can pick up the second show, which will run at 0400 GMT. So the show that's just gone, and the after show, which will continue when this live show ends, but unfortunately for the audience, it's goodbye from me. So I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!